We told you earlier about labour shortages in many parts of Australia, which keeps pressure on wages, inflation and, of course, interest rates. But with the constant wage rises and even the increase in superannuation from July 1 to 11% of a worker's wage, it will tip the balance for some employers in the future. Employment Hero monitors more than 140,000 small and medium-sized businesses, and they account for more than 1.4 million workers. Its CEO is Ben Thompson, who joins me now. Ben, many thanks for your time, as always. The interesting thing is here, Australia's labour market comes to a tipping point at some time in the future when really businesses that have a shortage of workers right now decide either they can't fill those positions or their own business starts to deteriorate.
Yeah, that's true. So we're still seeing unemployment sitting at 3.6%, but in the last month, we've seen some fairly concerning indicators in our data, the Employment Hero SME Employment Index. What we've noted is that over the last 12 months, wages have grown by 7.1%, well in excess of what we're hearing from the government. It goes to show that the constraint on the labour market is leading to higher wages, higher than what are being reported by the ABS. But in the last month, we've seen a decrease in the median wage that people are taking home, and that's because people are getting fewer hours. We believe that there's a consumer recession and that businesses are using salaried employees or owner-operators to do more of the overtime, and therefore employees are literally just earning less despite these increases to the base rates. And that's all before the 5.75% national wage case increase kicks in the new financial year.
I was going to take you to that because, of course, many of your members, small and medium-sized businesses, will have workers who are on that minimum wage or indeed on EBAs, enterprise bargaining agreements, that will get picked up by that decision. Now, that decision's still to flow through from July 1, and on top of that, you've got the increase in superannuation. And that wages bill ultimately makes employers make decisions about exactly how many workers they will need in the future.
Exactly. So we're starting to see a slight decline in the number of employees in the typical small, medium-sized business on our platform. And as I said, we're seeing the first significant decrease in actual median hourly rates, which is that blend of ordinary hours plus penalty and overtime hours, which attract, often a two or 2.5 time penalty, which is, where a lot of people have been earning those extra dollars to get through this difficult time with inflation running hot. And
but then I was going to say
fewer hours.
Yeah, I was going to jump in there and just say, because this comes back to the condition of business, doesn't it? Because they're coming to your site seeking the workers, trying to figure out where those workers might be. And at the same time, they're really trying to look at their own situation to see whether there is business going forward. If that big business is deteriorating, which is what we're hearing from, say, the likes of the surveys from the National Australia Bank, then the employment prospects going forward will also deteriorate.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's what we've seen over the last couple of years. So at the end of COVID, there was a real shortage as people started to return to the workplace, particularly hospitality and retail. And we saw employees sort of being given a lot more hours than they would normally get. So they were earning more with these additional overtime hours. That's all being cut back now because the trade's just not there to support it. So, the 7.1% increase over the last 12 months. But in the last couple of months, we've seen a decrease to the median wage paid to employees. It's definitely, in our opinion, and that's a reflection of the economy, and it's a reflection of small and medium-sized businesses starting to struggle.
And it's one of those things, you and I have talked about this before, why there is that disparity between what you're seeing in the real time of what employers are paying their workers versus what the ABS and the government are actually seeing, because it's poles apart quite clearly, which says that wages inflation has already got out big time into Australia's economy.
Absolutely, and we haven't even seen the next wage increase go through yet. So we're seeing, a 7.1% increase with now a 5.75% base increase, but it's not the base that affects the business. Significant numbers of hours, Saturdays and Sundays, and any hours after 7 p.m. at night attract penalties, loadings, and allowances. that are compounded above the minimum increase. So that's what flows through to the bottom line, to the cost of the business, a significant increase. So I expect that over the next 6 months, we're going to see a breakout in wages, and we're going to see small and medium-sized businesses struggling to offer the hours to their employees that they would like, and we're going to see a continued reduction in that median hourly rate.